Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. And if you want 10% off and 14 days for free, make sure you go to squarespace.com/incon to start your website. Hello everybody. Before we get back into our God guides, we are going to do a couple of very specific Season 8 guides to help you out at the start of a new season. Some very, very basic stuff so you're not lost right when you get into the Conquest map. And today we're starting with the most basic of all things. Where the heck do you start when the minions spawn? If you are a support player this season, you are going to be starting at the purple buff. You will be starting at the purple buff and you will be by yourself. You're going to be getting this started up so that way when your ADC walks on over, they are able to get level 2 very, very quickly. There is one iteration on this start where instead of you starting at purple, you actually start at your red buff, which is where your ADC is going to be. And then you rotate yourself over to purple after that. The only time you do this is when you're specifically trying to get the support ahead. So if you've got some sort of very aggressive support in the laning phase that you want to make sure they've got their levels quickly, you can have them start the red buff with you. The ADC, mid, and support will all be here. And then you can rotate over and do your purple with your ADC. But in general, you're going to be starting at the purple buff by yourself, waiting to clear it until your hunter rotates right on over, and then you can finish it on up and you head straight into the lane. If you are an ADC this season, you're going to be starting at the red buff. Specifically, you are going to be starting at the red buff with your mid laner, and then you are going to be rotating over to your purple buff where your support should already have it started. So you can walk over and go get the XP for it. What you're going to do as the hunter is it's actually your job to pull this red buff first. So the second that the red buff spawns, you want to be the person that hits it first. This is going to pull it away from your mid laner and towards you. You might take an auto attack or two from the red buff. That is fine. Then you are going to reset it back out of the red because this is going to make the red buff run all the way over to your mid laner who is going to be over here, making it so they don't have to run across the entirety of the red buff in order to come pick it up. So right when it spawns, you're going to start it. You're going to get it down to about, a couple hundred HP. Right when you think your mid laner is going to be able to finish it without any problems and you're still going to get the credit, you're going to rotate over right to your purple. Well, your support should already have it down at least like halfway. You get to tap it once or twice and then move your way directly into the lane where you will be getting level 2. That means that as the mid laner, you're starting right here at your red buff. As we previously discussed, you want to wait basically for your hunter, your ADC specifically, to pull this buff. Then you are going to finish it off over on your side. After you clear this red buff, you're going to head straight over into the mid lane. If you two-way split this with your hunter, which is the standard start, every once in a while there will be a three-way start with a support player. The three-way start kind of screws up your XP in mid, so I recommend only you and your hunter doing it. When you come to get the wave, you won't even have to entirely clear a whole wave for you to get level 2. That means that mid laners are getting level 2 very fast. I believe it's like 4 out of the 6 minions will get you that level 2. So expect early aggression in the mid lane, whether it's a hunter or a mage, especially mages with conduit gems. Watch out for whoever has better clear. If you do not have better clear in the mid lane, make sure you're standing back a little bit because they are going to get level 2. They're going to have red buff. They're going to have conduit gem, and they're going to kill you and get a first blood right off the bat. So be very careful as a mid laner, or simply be the one with better clear that's ready to fight. Be the person aggressing. Now for the most contentious of the starts. The jungler and the solo really have the most possible variations right now because there are two distinct viable starts right now over in the jungle/solo side. So the dual lane kind of just has their regular start, support at purple, ADC and mid at red, and then they disperse. That's almost always the start that you're gonna see. Over here on the jungle side of the map, you've got two really viable starts for two different reasons. So one start is the jungler does the speed buff by themselves. This means that the jungler is going to use Hand of the Gods on this speed buff to clear it ASAP. Where's the solo laner in this case? In this case, the solo laner is already going to be starting their blue. So you're going to burn this speed as fast as possible, and then you are going to run right on over to the blue buff. So when do you do this start? You do this start when you want to get your jungler as fed as humanly possible. So oftentimes in this start, depending on who the solo laner is, you're going to even need to blink over to the blue buff. And right when you get about here, they should be clearing it, and this will get you level 2. That means by the time you go clear these harpies, and then these harpies and get to the mid lane, you can get level 3 off of basically that wave, giving you a huge level lead in the jungle. So you're doing this start if you want to snowball your jungler's lead. They will get level 3 way before the enemy jungler if you do this start. The other option that you have is the more equitable solo and jungle start, in which the solo laner will start with the jungler. There's kind of 2 main reasons why you run this start. One, the jungler doesn't have a Hand of the Gods. If your jungler doesn't have Hand of the Gods, there's no way they'll ever make it to the blue buff in time, and so it's not an efficient XP start. Or 2, if you want to try to get your solo laner a little bit more ahead. Maybe you care more about getting that XP in the solo lane because they're going to have a harder time. Maybe they're just a better player and you want them to snowball, doesn't matter. In that case, you will both start at speed. You will then both run over. You will skip this camp right here. You will not do it. You will do these guys as they spawn, and then you will do the blue buff together. That start will get you both level 2. So the solo laner gets to walk into their lane at level 2, and the jungler gets his level 2 to go back and do this harpy camp before he heads over to the mid lane. So this will be slightly less XP for the jungler, so he won't get the level 3 quite as fast, but the solo laner will go into lane level 2 and have a better fight opportunity. Now keep in mind, if you do this start, it is slightly less XP efficient overall because your solo laner will actually miss a couple of minions that will have already met. So the more efficient total XP way to do this is to have the jungler start at speed and run over to blue, so the solo laner kills the blue and then goes directly to lane and you do not lose any minion XP. But if you do that and the other side does the start that more favors the solo, your solo has an opportunity where they maybe get caught out while they're level 1 and the other solo laner comes over and can be level 2. There's a weird timing issue depending on what gods and how fast they're clearing. But in general, I personally favor getting my jungler ahead. So I like the jungle start for my jungler. You'll see a lot of solo mains doing the start where they all go through together because that start more so favors the solo laner. I do think both of those starts will be kind of viable at the start of the season, and we'll see different teams running different strategies, assuming no changes, depending on where they think they have their better chances of snowballs or their better players. So try them both out and see which one you like for which role you're in, for where you like to play the most. And that, guys, is the end of our start guide. We are going to have a couple of very basic guides for you here. So this was our starter guide: support at purple, mid and ADC at red, jungler at his speed, maybe a solo laner at the speed. If you're not the speed as solo, you're at the blue when the minions spawn. Other things that I want to cover, very basics, guys, is I want to cover the map changes, how they work and how it affects the game. And I also want to cover the new starter items, what role is buying what items and in what situations. Those are kind of the basics that I want to get back down to. So really just 3 basic guides. I might do a little ward guide, but that kind of is a part of our regular god guides. As soon as we get those 3 videos done, hopefully they'll all basically be out this weekish. We'll get right back into our god guides for the new season, which will be first guide of the season will be Camazotz. Camazotz is where we left off, so we'll get right back into our god guide so you can get all of your intimate god knowledge on the map for all of the roles that we'll be playing him. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for all your support, and of course we have a message from our friends at Squarespace. This video was brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace has everything you need to know to grow online, guys. They make it super easy in order to get a website up and running. No matter what your idea is, you can take it to the next level with Squarespace. With their award-winning designs, you can make sure that you're standing out from the crowd, guys, whether you want to make a blog, whether you're trying to sell some products online, no matter what you need to do. And with our special partnership with Squarespace, you get 10% off when you use our link down in the description below and use our code Incon. Thank you for supporting the channel and get your website up and running.